Another exciting episode here on the Professional Edge. My name's Todd, tax attorney, CPA, and certified financial planner. What we're talking about is plan today to enjoy tomorrow. We talked about some income tax planning, whether you had a hobby versus a business. Hobby losses cannot be deducted, but business losses can actually be deducted, and the IRS has a standard for that. Being a tax attorney and a CPA, I understand that standard, and we, if we can, meet those standards, and therefore that hobby loss gets converted to a business loss, and therefore we can offset your W-2 or your portfolio income. Just a simple example, on a $3,000 loss, 30% tax rate saves you $900 in income tax. That right there will buy maybe a bag of groceries, tongue in cheek on that one. So let's plan today to enjoy tomorrow. Well, that means how can we structure things within our investment portfolio to plan today to enjoy tomorrow? Well, we don't want to have short-term capital gains because those, we all know, are taxed as our ordinary income tax rate. What we want to try and do is hold these investments for more than a year and a day, and therefore we would get that long-term capital gains tax treatment. Now, when we plan today to enjoy tomorrow, we, as older individuals, start to realize that we're not going to spend all of our assets. We're not going to run out of money. So we have these grandchildren in our foray in the family. And, they're born, they're 1, 2, 3 years old. Well, here's the advantage there. What you can do instead of giving them another stuffed animal is stuff their 529 education account full of money. And with that, then whatever that grows to is going to come out income tax free if it's used for higher education. Now, there was a recent tax law change which allows that 529 to be actually used $10,000 for private school or high school tuition. So that's another benefit there. So if we put in $2,000, it grows to $6,000 by the time that individual goes off to college. That $6,000, if it's used for qualified education expenses, is going to come out income tax free. That's how we plan today, because we know time can't stop. It's going to proceed forward. So we put time on that grandchild side and let that money compound and grow so we can enjoy tomorrow and say, hey, you know what? When you were 1 and 2 years old, we started this college education account. We put money in every birthday, every holiday, and just for special occasions. And you know what? This semester is part of your 529 account, just part of it. And next semester is going to be part of your 529 account. And wouldn't that be such an amazing experience or amazing thought to know that your grandchildren's college education is fully funded and you, as the grandparent, have made that happen for them? And you say, well, I don't know if my 1-year-old grandchild's college material. Well, that's fine too, because we can always switch that beneficiary to one of them. Or that account can be withdrawn after the age of 65. It's going to be included in income tax, but it won't be subject to any early distribution penalty of 10%. So that's another thing. It's a planning today so they can enjoy tomorrow. So that's another incentive for our listeners here on the Professional Edge. If you've been thinking about it, you're driving around, you're like, man, I really want to do something for my grandkids. Give them another stuffed toy they're not going to remember. But you know what? Come college time, think about it. If you had a couple years of your college paid for because your grandparents had the foresight and fortitude to plan today so they can enjoy tomorrow, that would be pretty spectacular. So if you want to have that conversation, give our office a call at 877-654-9798. That number again, 877-654-9798. Now, we also have this new part of the Internal Revenue Code, which says that these 529 accounts, as long as they've been into existence for 15 plus years, can actually be converted into a Roth IRA. Might not know that, right? So we can use this, fund out the Roth IRA as long as that conversion is done properly and they're eligible to make that conversion. So a 529, 15 years in length, can be converted to a Roth IRA. Now we have those dollars in a tax-free instrument coming out, and we have a limit on the amount we can make on this conversion. And we can go over that when we meet down here at the Cunningham Center on Zoom or in the great city of Atlanta, the traffic stop. So that's another way that we can plan today to enjoy tomorrow. So, all right, let's think about planning today to enjoy tomorrow. What assets are we going to give away? Well, a lot of individuals near that late stage of life start giving away a whole bunch of stuff. Give away the jewelry that they don't need, some antiques, some family heirlooms, things like that. That's all right. Those will probably qualify for the annual exclusion. No gift tax, no items due the IRS. If you exceed the annual exclusion, well, there is gift tax, but probably no dollars will exchange, but you do have to file a gift tax return. That's Form 709. So when we're giving these things away, what are you actually going to give? Let's talk about investments. Well, we can give cash. For example, let's give them $5,000 of cash, or are we going to give them $5,000 of Home Depot stock that you bought 10 years ago? Well, when we make a gift of cash, that basis is going to be $5,000. But if we give $5,000 of Home Depot stock you gave 10 years or you purchased 5 years ago, then the donee, that's the one receiving the gift, is going to receive the basis of the donor. So therefore, if that person that you made the gift as a stock to sells that once they receive it the day of the gift, then they are going to have a potential gain on that because the price of Home Depot stock is appreciated. That donee is going to have the basis of the donor and therefore going to be subject to capital gains tax. So think about that when you're making your gifts. What are you going to give? Low basis stock or high basis stock? What about passing away? Well, you know what? It might be better to keep that Home Depot stock in the portfolio for you to pass away. And you get a full step up in basis of fair market value date of death. And therefore, when the beneficiary of your estate sells that Home Depot stock, they're not going to pay any capital gains tax on the gain from the date in which the decedent purchased until the date the decedent passed away. That is wiped away. It's called a new step up in basis to fair market value date of death. And wow, if you're driving, that was a lot of information, and I'll review it one more time. So if you have low basis stock, when you pass away, you get a new step up in basis to fair market value date of death. The donor, not the donor, that is one who gives a gift, but the decedent passes that on to the beneficiary at a new cost basis fair market value date of death. So you can actually avoid the capital gains versus making a gift. So again, these are all estate planning considerations that we review at estate management counselors. Being a tax attorney, a CPA, a certified financial planner, and a registered investment advisor, that we manage clients' assets on a fee basis. We have a fiduciary duty to act in our clients' best interest. If that is the conversation you want to have, give our office a call at 877-654-9798. That number again, 877-654-9798. We put these all together. What is the tax plan? What is your estate plan? What is your portfolio? What does it look like? What are you holding in the respective accounts? I just sort of shake my head sometimes when I'm reviewing, these large brokerage firm statements, and I ask the client, why are you holding this in this account? They just look at me like deer in the headlights, and they're like, I don't know. She put that in there. And I'm like, who is she? And they say, well, the stockbroker did. They're managing it. And I'm like, I'm not sure if I agree with this. And I outline specifically why. And it just makes fundamental sense to make some changes. I see it time and time again because stockbrokers are not licensed to give tax advice. So when was the last time you made a financial decision that you didn't have to include the tax considerations? So isn't it time that you start getting tax counsel in congruence with your investment decisions? You can at Estate Management Counselors. To start the conversation, give our office a call at 877-654-9798. That number again, 877-654-9798. It makes perfect sense to me, and once individuals meet and we talk and have a discussion, I mean, the light bulb goes off and it's like, wow, that does make sense to coordinate my estate planning, to coordinate my tax planning with my investment portfolio. It all goes together. It all coordinates. So here's one: plan today to enjoy tomorrow. Who's the beneficiary on your 401k or your IRA? All right, you probably said spouse. Got it. Okay, perfect. You just ran the risk of disinheriting your kids. Think about this. Well, you name your spouse, and people live longer. I mean, it's to age 85. That's the life expectancy. So you die at 65. Your spouse is going to live another 20 years. What's the probability of them meeting someone else later in life? Pretty good. And we've seen a lot of later year marriages. So if they get married and they go to their stockbroker or the 1-800 firm and they open up that IRA account and they say, hey, who do you want your beneficiary to be? And they say spouse. Great. So your surviving spouse then names the new spouse as being the primary beneficiary. Well, your surviving spouse passes before the new spouse, and guess what? Boom, your 401k that you rolled to your IRA, which your spouse inherited, is now off to the new spouse. That new spouse has zero legal responsibility to leave anything to your kids. You just disinherited your kids of the largest financial asset you have, or a lot of our clients have. Well, let's avoid that mistake, and you can by placing the proper beneficiary on the IRA or the 401k account. And think about this: you got $1 million 401k, you name your spouse, and boom, spouse gets remarried, and everybody's looking at each other right now saying, no, I'm not going to get remarried. Well, I'm here to tell you that more people are getting married later in life, and second marriages even after the age of 60. So they get remarried and they want to make that spouse happy, and they say, oh, just name each other. We're going to name each other as being the primary beneficiary on each one. Well, your $1 million IRA went to your surviving spouse, and now it went to the new spouse. The new spouse has kids. Guess what? We update the beneficiary designation because now the spouse passed and they're age 78 now. And guess where it's going to go? It's going to go to that new spouse's children. I see it all the time and I shake my head. It is a disaster for estate planning. So how do you plan today to enjoy tomorrow to make sure you don't disinherit your kids? Well, you update your beneficiary designation properly on your IRA and even on your 401k that you're an active participant at work. So if that is of consequence to you, you don't want the new husband or new wife, kids, to get your 401k, give our office a call at 877-654-9798. That number again, 877-654-9798. If you're okay with having your kids potentially disinherited, then disregard the telephone call. My name's Todd, tax attorney, certified financial planner, and a CPA as well. Host here on the Professional Edge. I appreciate you listening in. And if you think one of your colleagues or friends can also benefit from this information, send them the link. They will appreciate it.
We've all thought about it. Everyone listening will need one. Not having one can cause untold heartache, family conflict escalating to the point of a lawsuit. One simple thing that avoids all that: an effective estate plan. As a practicing tax attorney, Sean Todd with Estate Management Counselors has completed over 1,000 estate plans during his 15 years of professional practice. He can help you implement an effective estate plan, coordinate your financial accounts, and make sure you have named the proper beneficiaries to maximize your tax savings. Call 877-654-9798 today and let tax attorney Sean Todd help you implement an effective estate plan. Call 877-654-9798 today. As a tax attorney CPA for over 15 years, Sean Todd has implemented over 1,000 individual estate plans. He has recently authored an especially helpful guide, How to Unlock the Ultimate Estate Plan. This guide has helped many individuals to understand the benefits of an estate plan and how to avoid unintended disasters. Sean has made every attempt to write this in plain English. To receive this valuable guide, How to Unlock the Ultimate Estate Plan, call 1-877-654-9798 and request your complimentary copy today, or by emailing your request to info@emcadvisors.net.